Hi guys, welcome to our 7D Part 2 notes. This is our last notes for this unit. Again, all of this is still non-calculator, so no calculators allowed whatsoever. Okay? So our last thing that we're looking at is transformations. So a transformation is changing a shape using a turn, a flip, a slide, or a resize. Okay? And translation is just a slide to the left, right, up, or down. So I'm basically just moving it around but not changing the size. So for this target, we're really only looking at cubic functions, so y equals x cubed, and what happens to those functions. So y equals x cubed is what we call our parent graph. It's the graph that all other cubic functions come from. And then we have what we call our standard equation, y equals a times x minus h cubed plus k. So I can put in any number for a, h, and k and get any cubic function I could possibly want. Okay? So, looking at what those letters mean, A, whatever A is, we say there's a vertical stretch by the absolute value of A. That means it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It's going to be vertically stretched by whatever A is. Okay? One thing that's not there is if negative. Right? If A is negative, we say it flips over the x-axis. I'm actually not going to use the word flip. I'm going to use the word reflect because that is our true math vocabulary. So if negative, it flips over x-axis. Okay? So that's what A does. Then we have H. So H is a translation. Left or right. And again, translation just means it moves left or right. And for H, you always have to switch the sign since it is being subtracted. Okay? So you have to be careful because it's for subtraction. Whatever you actually have there, if it's plus 4, it's going to be negative 4. If it's minus 4, it's going to be positive 4. So always switch the sign. And then for K, you have a translation up or down. So just moving your graph up or moving your graph down. And for K, keep the sign. So whatever the sign is, that's what it stays at. So by just looking at an equation, we can see what is going to happen to that graph. So let's look at some examples. Sorry. Okay, so example 1 says, explain the transformation of y equals x cubed. So we started at x cubed and we've gone to each of these things. So for here, the first thing that I see is that negative. So it reflects over the x-axis. And then here, right, it's inside, h is inside your parentheses. So that's going to switch signs, negative 4. So I'm just going to, instead of saying translate, a translation, I'm going to say it moves. Since it's negative, it's going to move left, right, 4. So really, h is inside your parentheses. My computer is not going to work today. H is inside your parentheses, K is outside. We can add that in to help us remind ourselves. So those are my only different things. The x and the cubed are the same as the parent graph. so I don't have to explain those things. Let's look at example 2. This one has a 2 in front. That's a vertical stretch. I'm just going to abbreviate V as vertical stretch. There's other things called horizontal stretches that we're not looking at. So V is a vertical stretch by 2. Then I have an inside. We change the sign. So move left because it's negative 2. And then I have, right, K is negative 1, so move down 1. Inside versus outside. Looking at C, right, again, I have that number outside. It's a vertical stretch by 1/3. Inside is negative 3, so that's going to change to positive 3. So this is going to move right by 3. And then outside I have negative 2. I keep that sign, so it's going to move down 2. Alright. This one, we have several different things. I have the negative. The negative is different from the number, so reflects over x-axis. The 2 means it's a vertical stretch by 2. The 3, right, I change the sign, so I move left 3. And the negative 1, we move down 1 because we keep the sign, so negative is in the down direction. Okay. And that's it. So it's kind of just knowing what each of those numbers mean. You will have to memorize what each of those numbers mean. Alright, looking at example 2, 2 questions here. Now I'm going to write the equation with the given transformation. So again, we're starting with y equals a times x minus h cubed plus k. So less 11 means I'm going negative 11. A vertical stretch by 5, that's my a. So a is going to be 5. I don't have to change the sign. So all I'm doing here is y equals, my a is now 5. It's being stretched. X minus, really, right, it's negative 11, so I have to change the sign to plus 11 cubed. And I have nothing about my k, so I don't have to worry about it. It gives me plus 0. But again, we do not have to worry about that one, so just 5 times x plus 11. Looking at b, again, y equals a times x minus h cubed plus k. Reflection over x-axis, that makes my a negative. A vertical stretch by 5, that changes my a. Up 4, that means k equals positive. K equals positive 4. And then less 2, that means h equals negative 2. So y equals, my a is both negative and changed to 5. Then x. Now, h is negative 2, so I have to change the sign, plus 2. H always changes no matter which direction you're going. Q. And then k is positive 4. So this is going up. So plus 4. Right. So that would be my equation. Y equals negative 5, x plus 2 cubed plus 4. And that is it. Have a wonderful night, guys.